Welcome to the Scientific Investor channel. Cryptocurrency market is bouncing its way back up. Yesterday in our video, we actually discussed about long-term chart of XRP and we assessed the probability that XRP may get a bounce from the 20-day moving average. These patterns are bullish and we are in an uptrend in which the 20-day moving average is supporting the price on a daily time frame. That's more bullish than ever. Now guys, this is the video which I put yesterday and we assess the probability that this is going to happen. And the next key item here is the 1 hour chart of XRP. Now in that we can actually see a pattern, that's the rising wedge, and most of the time the rising wedge break to the downside. And when we were kind of here, when we didn't get a break above this pattern, in this channel we pointed out that there is a probability that this may happen. Because the fluctuations, if the price is fluctuating back down, say getting a break, fake out like this, coming back down and slowly getting to here and then. So guys, we do technical analysis in a positive way to understand the probability of what is gonna come. Now yes, we don't have a magic bowl, but we are assessing the technicals. Now before we jump deep into the technical analysis, I would like to take you guys through some other information. So this is one tweet from CountX, then another one from XRP Crypto Wolf, then this is myself, and a new article from neum.com and an old one from CoinDesk. Now guys, if you haven't subscribed to this channel or if you are new to this channel, I kindly request you guys to support the channel, hit the subscribe button and click that notification icon so that you guys will be notified about the future videos. This is the first information from CountX. Now he shows that XRP receives Australian law as market volume overtakes Bitcoin. Now yes, we actually saw that in one corridor towards Mexico, another corridor towards Philippines, and now the same is happening towards the Australian market. So we can actually see slowly we are getting more and more adoption. Institutions are getting in, like we just heard from Brad Garlinghouse that just to Mexico, they are getting 54 million in transaction, and Bitso itself is kind of getting 2 billion in ODL flow. So once this market is kind of maturing itself, now it's still at an early stage, and if we are doing this, Bitcoin has been around for last 10 years, 12 years, right? And if XRP has been for some years, not just 1 or 2 years, but the ODL or the on-demand liquidity is just being embraced by firms, and in this initial phase of that on-demand liquidity, if we are getting this, then think guys, when you look at the future, it's so bright. Because back in 2017, Brad Garlinghouse stated that Citi would be the last bank they would sign up. So it's extremely bullish that Citibank is the latest banking giant to join Finance Network Conto which runs on R3. So guys, think most of these small banks pay for conducting the cross-border payment with their corresponding banking network to giants like Citibank. And if they are actually coming into this, they started looking at the background, and they got the information that the small firms are not going to pay them anymore for just executing these cross-border payments. So they are now looking more into the blockchain based global trade network, because they don't want to leave their breakfast, dinner or lunch or other new small startups, and if they don't care about that, in just 2, 3 or 4 or 5 years max, they'll just be hungry, they won't get any food. Now there's the which I retweeted from I Am the Legion. Now he was actually talking, this is an old information, but it was new for him. And yes, even after being here for 3 years, this is also new for me too. So I really would like to point out that this was being prepared in background from years. So 2016 is like 4 years back, and we had this information there. Implementation of real-time settlement for banks using decentralized ledger technology. Now what you have to think there is decentralized, because most of the time when you hear about real-time settlement banks, you look at central banks, something centralized, whereas they are talking about a decentralized ledger technology here. And who is talking about that? You can see that special advisor for global regulatory affairs, that is Ripple. And he's actually talking to who? The vice chair, payments subcommittee of American Bar Association Business Law. So one is from the regulatory perspective, another one is from Ripple the company. Now when you're actually looking at that, what you understand here is the authors refer to both the current set of innovations bringing out the shift they describe, as well as future innovations built on these new technologies as the Internet of Value. Now, we have listened to this terminology, Internet of Value, previously many times from Joel Katz or Dave Schwartz and Brad Garlinghouse in many interviews. And yeah, not only them, but most of the individuals from Ripple, the company, talk about this Internet of Value when they are, facing the regulators, where they are discussing about this in many interviews. So this is really bullish because they planned this way back 3-4 years back, and they are now getting attention. They are now getting real partners. Now this is the next one, showing partnership with Brazilian bank Banco do Panzio. Now I don't know whether my pronunciation for that is correct, but I think that is Banco do Panzio. Now Neum, the digital cross-border payment platform for consumers, enterprises, blah blah blah, is with like dealing one of the Brazil's leading digital bank. Now in this one, what it is, best to see here is, yeah, while Bank of Tapasio has been operating for over 15 years, the company has grown quickly by offering services addressing gap in the market. So, some firm which was trying to find out, research and get the gaps which are there from the giant players, and trying to fill that gap to get more customers, enhance their customer experience, and move into new markets. So they are now actually seeing a gap in this cross-border payment, because in the cross-border payment sector, you all know that there's a lot of friction. Banks are kind of looting us for sending money. In this channel, we have actually described about our personal experience, how much we are paying in fees, transaction, blah blah blah. But when we have some kind of technology like XRP, that actually solves that issue. And that is because US dollar is the current reserve currency. Say, for an example, I'm here in South Korea and I'm sending back money to my home country, India. They actually kind of consider it like South Korean won to USD, USD to India. I mean, Indian rupees. So that is kind of, taking 2 days, 3 days at least, a minimum 2 days. And I'm not even sure how much I'll be getting at the end when I'm sending money from here. That's bad. So this previous article, now yeah, this is a bit old, last 23 August 2019, but what you have to recognize here is he's a central banker, right? And he is stating that UK central bank chief is looking at a digital currency, displacing US dollar as a global reserve. Because currently, say for example, US dollar is a global reserve and most of the countries are holding dollar, right? A huge amount. Now, if this is going to change, then each of a country, say for example, India, South Korea, or any other country, say in this perspective, UK, is not considering US dollar as a reserve, then they don't actually have to hold that much of US dollar. Instead, they can just put that into another currency. Now, yes, if they're coming up with their own central bank digital currency, they will put a lot in that. But still, they need a bridge asset to bridge between one country to another when they are doing this cross-border payments. So what you have to think is a statement previously from David Schwartz. He was pointing out that if this is going to happen and XRP is going to become the global reserve currency for payments, then organizations or countries are going to, accumulate this asset so that they don't have to pay much more in fees, so that they'll get this in a cheap rate. So you can't get better than this. This time we came back, hit around 1.8 or just below 1.8. So if they are actually accumulating, then yes, this is something really new. Because guys, when we actually look at the accumulation pattern, what you really have to understand is the pattern which we always discuss in this channel is Wyckoff pattern. And in Wyckoff pattern, we actually see that after this huge correction, we get a change in trend, then we go down in price, the spring and the usual thing as we described. But what is important to note here is that he actually states that every cause in the market leads to a proportional effect. Now, yeah, this is not directly from me. You guys can just go into Google, look at the distribution, accumulation distribution phase of Wyckoff. And in this one, he's actually clearly showing you the change in trend there and getting a bounce slowly. Now, yeah, this won't be happening in a single line if you go in detail with different charts. But if you go through this, you understand accumulation and distribution are different stages. Accumulation leads to a markup and the price increase, and distribution leads to a markdown and price decrease. So if you see this, before going down, distribution in the distribution phase, it marked a spring there. So if you really go back into the chart of XRP and look at this in a longer time frame, say we get everything here. Now this is a long time frame chart of XRP, right? In this one, we actually saw that the price went below, made a new low here, and then slowly grinded. But yes, it did take a lot of time before it started the markup phase. But here in the distribution one, you can see that we popped above. Now, yes, I was in this market during this time, but at that time I didn't have any idea I was a newbie. But from that time duration, say from early 2017, from this time duration, I was here in the market till here. I didn't get much of a profit. Then I had positions which was ranking from $3 about $3, and my average was kind of $2.8. Now, yes, this accumulation phase have actually given all of us an opportunity to average down, and now my average is somewhere here, and I'm really happy about that. Now, yes, in the distribution phase, you can see that we got a spring here. We made a new high and then started the markdown phase for this particular cycle. And in this cycle, we have actually made, in this phase, we actually made a spring here. We came back above this. Now, this is a critical area of support resistance zone in which it is credible to note that from this cycle, say we came from here to here, but before this correction, we actually went just above the 0.5 Fibonacci level and moved into the 0.5 to 0.618. So in next bounce, say, which is going to happen soon, if we are to cross above 0.618 and turning, bullish, like it's not like selling your home, putting the money in, that's gambling. We are going to look at this on an investor's perspective. So if we are to look at this in a longer term, you can actually see that in long-term trend, the price is actually moving to the upside. This is the RSI, which is pointing you that. Now we got a bounce here, we got a bounce here, again we got a bounce here. So if we are to get back into the overbought area here, you can actually see real volatility, the price moving much up high, because it happened previously when we were here. The price kind of went back from the overbought level. Then again, if you look at it again, we just blew back into the overbought area, which was higher than the previous one. And the previous one was around 80-85 zone, and this one was around 97. So if you compare that with this one, you can see that this high was around about 80. So it kind of, coincides with the previous one. And if we manage to get back above this and get a higher RSI here, then that kind of validates the probability that we are going to go much higher. Now that's on a longer time frame chart, right? So if you're actually looking at this in a shorter time frame, if you're trading this market in a short time frame, now yes, I don't actually advocate to do that, because fluctuation like this and the analysis like this, counting the probability, trying to turn the odds into our favor, doesn't actually work all the time. But yeah, you can try to do your best. Still, if you're actually trading this market in a shorter time frame, you should assume that this is gonna happen continuing like this unless it's breaking to one direction, either to the upside or to the bottom. And if you are to actually measure the movement, you should actually take, now this line should be straight. Okay, you should take out the actual measured move and place where the price is going to break up or down, and consider placing your stop loss not that tight, but at least above the previous fluctuation. Now if you had to put a buy, then it should be somewhere here. If you had to put a sell when the price is going to break up, then it should be somewhere here. So guys, that's all for today's video, and I would like to again request you guys, if you guys haven't subscribed to this channel, if you are new to this channel, and if you got value out of this video, please do hit the subscribe button and the like button. I'll meet you guys on the next video. Bye for now.